Hi, my friend. Welcome to the autumn season. Officially, we have about another week left or so, a little bit less than a week. But this is a season that we all love. The colors are beautiful, the leaves are great. You get that nice crisp air. We get to wear our sweaters and our boots and our scarves and the gloves and the hats. Like, oh my gosh, it's the ultimate fashion time for me. It's like one of the reasons I love it. Of course, we're all into that pumpkin spice, right? So it's a wonderful time. But there is something else that comes along with the fall season, and that is the cold and flu. So, yeah, there's a downside too of the autumn season because this really is the season of cold and flu. It's like the start of it. And for women, we sometimes have a harder time with the cold and flu because we're doing so much. Like, even if the rest of our family has the cold and flu, and we still do, if we have it as well, we got to be the one to do everything, right? And we're taking care of everybody and we're busy doing work. We're just busy all the time doing things. It's like on the go, on the go, on the go. And then the stress of the upcoming holiday season, like all the things you got to do for that. It's like, oh my gosh, it's so much. And so stress can kind of weaken our immune system. And then some people have a harder time during this time period because now daylight savings time is gone. We're moving into the standard time, so that means our days are shorter. So it gets dark earlier, and we're not getting as much vitamin D, and it's so easy to get anxiety and depression. So again, makes us susceptible to the colds and the flu. So today I just want to share 5 tips with you of some things that I do that helped me with the cold and flu. And honestly, I have not had the cold and flu for, it's really honestly been decades. Although last year I had something, it wasn't a cold, wasn't the cold, wasn't the flu, wasn't COVID. But as I talked to other people, like my neighbors, they had walking pneumonia, and it sounded like their symptoms sounded exactly like mine. Other than that, yeah, I just don't get it. And because I follow these 5 tips. Now, I'm not saying if following these tips is going to make you cold and flu resistant for the rest of your life, but I'm saying this is what works for me. So, number one is really honestly the simplest thing, really wash your hands. Honestly, wash your hands. That's so super important all the time, but especially at this time when you're touching doorknobs and different things where people have, if you're out in public, you're touching things that other people may have had the flu or cold, and they're coughing into their hands instead of always coughing to your elbow, but they're coughing into their hands and are blowing their nose and not washing their hands because maybe there's no water around, and then they're touching doorknobs or the stairwell stair the staircase wells, whatever, those rails that you hold on to when you're walking up and down the stairs. But if you ever go in public with me, you'll notice I don't hold on to those rails. I have to be super careful. I honestly wouldn't tell you to do that. I have to be super careful. It's rare that I'm holding on to rail because I don't know who's touched it and with their germs. And so it's so important that you wash your hands often and try not to put your hands to your nose or to your mouth, because now you're touching on these things and you put it into your nose or your mouth. Everything's airborne, and that's how you get the cold and the flu. So you want to be super careful of what you're touching and constantly washing your hands. I have carried hand sanitizer around with me for ages. I mean, long before there was a COVID, long before. I always had hand sanitizer with me because germs are everywhere. And when it's cold and flu season, I am always on top of it. And when I was in high school, I was in this medical program, and I got to work with nurses, and we learned proper ways of washing our hands. We learned to wash our hands the way surgeons wash their hands. And I've been practicing that for all these years. And when I'm out and about, like today, I had to go grocery shopping. I went to Costco and I went to Trader Joe's. when I came home, I washed my hands because I touched the shopping carts and touching other things there. So I want to make sure that once I get home, I want my home to be um, bacteria free. I want it to be germ free. So I wash my hands before I even start putting my groceries away. That's just been my habit for decades. Decades is just what I've been doing. So washing your hands is so super important. And if you have school age kids or grandkids, I would highly recommend that you teach them this, because I'll tell you one thing, they're like in the incubator with all these other kids with all the germs. School starts back during the cold and flu season, and they're all locked up in this room close to each other and sneezing and coughing. And little kids, they're not covering their hands with their mouth or their nose with a hand or their elbow. They're just bringing it everywhere. How do I know? Because I used to work in the schools. I used to be a teacher. I know what goes on. And then they hand you your paper. But you got to grade the papers. So just be proactive with washing your hands. That's tip number 1. Wash your hands often. Because you're going to be washing your hands often, I highly recommend that you use a soap that is moisturizing. So I actually like using dōTERRA's hand soap. I'll get to that in another tip when I talk about protection. But washing your hands often, and then because you're washing your hands often and our hands show signs of aging, quickly, just like our face or our neck and décolleté, you want to make sure that you are keeping a hand cream on at all times. So after you wash, you put a hand cream on. So here by my desk, I always have a hand cream. I have a hand cream in my purse. I have hand creams like all over, because I have hand creams by my bedside, because you always want to keep your hands moisturized. Even in the middle of the night if I get up to go to the restroom, because I have my hand cream by my bedside, I put my hand cream on. So you always want to keep your hand moisturized. So that's a tip there for keeping your hands looking youthful, because you want to age well, even with your hands. Okay, so tip number 2, you want to make sure that you are fueling your body with the right foods. So this is a time where not quite yet, but as we get into cooler weather, soups are a fabulous source of vitamins, because you can add all types of vegetables into it. I also like to add a little bit of ginger and a little bit of turmeric, just a little, because those are really 2 wonderful, they're not really herbs, spices. 2 great spices that's going to help boost your immune system. So, but yeah, all kinds of vegetables. I put kale, I put all kinds of root vegetables. I put like all kinds of things. And if you had like leftover vegetables from dinner, you can just throw that into a soup, and you can have a soup at every single meal, honestly. Like, instead of having your salad that you would have in the summertime, the winter could be the soup time. So, and besides that, besides all the vitamins, because it's broth based, you're hydrating your body too, because you still need to have lots of liquids. You always still want to have water nearby. I always love drinking my water. So it's a little warm today when I was out shopping. So I'm constantly hydrating. So, and I'm honestly, this is a great time to do the root vegetables that we don't normally see during the summer. Like the summer, you get more of the water base, like your zucchini and your yellow squash. So their water base is perfect. But in the winter, you got those heartier vegetables that are very filling. So definitely lean into those. You can roast them, throw them into your soups, eat them however you want, but they're so really good to have. You also want to do some citrus fruits, because that's going to give you a little bit more of that vitamin C burst. And so you want to do more than just oranges, So yeah, we think oranges, but there's the tangerines and the mandolins, grapefruit. There's so many different things that you can do. And also broccoli has a great source of vitamin C as well. So those are different things that you wouldn't well, you can have them all the time, but definitely you want to be more mindful at this time of year to include all of those. Let's see, leafy vegetables, nuts are so good for you to have, and it's also a good idea to have nuts in the car with you, because sometimes we're out longer than we expect, or we're running errands, and then sometimes we get a little hungry and we want to grab something, and then that's a time where, like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry, and you just grab whatever, like especially if you're going grocery shopping, and then you're getting all the sugary foods, and instead, if you have some, like, just a handful of nuts to just kind of fuel you, that'd be good. Now, I like to buy my nuts that I normally buy, like, for my home for snacking, for a healthy snack, is usually in a bag. I like to get it from Trader Joe's. I would not recommend that for the car. For the car, I would recommend the ones I get in the tin, because just the whole thing with plastic and the heat, not really that great for you. So keep them more in a tin or something, or just have a little bit in your purse, but anywhere that's not getting a lot of a heat source. Okay, number 3 is you want to prioritize your sleep. Yeah, that's so important. I know our rhythm can get really off because we're moving out of the daylight savings time into the standard time. And for a while, sometimes we're like, because it gets dark so early, and it's earlier than we think. Sometimes we think it's really late, but it's like really earlier. And so things get thrown off, but it's really important to get sleep. Now, here's what a lot of people are not getting: 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Honestly, that's what the amount of sleep we're supposed to get: 7 to 9 hours to stay healthy, to have radiant skin, to have our body working at its best, for our mental health. 7 to 9 hours. And I know that's not always possible for everyone, but you want to create some type of sleep hygiene that's going to give you the ultimate amount of the quality of sleep that you're getting. So if you have trouble sleeping, or if the 7 to 9 hours is not in your reality world right now, I really suggest that you take my Sleep Well Naturally course. It's a digital course. You do it at your own pace, but it will tell you a lot of different things that help you to have really good quality sleep. So I'll put the link below so you can just click on and check it out and see what that is. Okay, so then number 4 is the natural protection. So what I like to do for natural protection is my On Guard. I love On Guard. Now, I use On Guard throughout the year, but at the cold and flu season, I am just even more on top of it. On Guard, first of all, comes in an oil. So it's essential oil. It's a blend. It has some really great single blend oils in here. You've got, let's see here what it has here. You have the clove bud, you have cinnamon leaf, cinnamon bark, eucalyptus, rosemary leaf, wild orange. It is so good. This is so healthy for you. I put it in my diffuser, and during this time, like during the rest of the year, I have a variety of different things that I diffuse. But when it's cold and flu season, I definitely like to diffuse my On Guard. And sometimes I'll diffuse the On Guard and the lemon together just to make sure it cleans the air. So I love doing that. But I also put this in a little bit of warm water with the lemon oil. I didn't pull out the lemon oil, but I put the lemon oil with it and a little bit of honey. And then I take that. And it's a really great immunity boost for your system. So I love that. I also have this in a like a hand sanitizing formula, and then I have like a spray that I use, like if I'm going to be going out, like I have a retreat coming out, so I'm going to be spending some time in a hotel. So the first thing I do when I go to any hotels, I use my On Guard and I spray down everything. I spray down like the remote control, the telephone, even though I really even use that. the doorknobs, the faucets in the bathroom, including the toilet handle, including the bathtub, faucets and the sink faucets, everything gets cleaned. Because just like I'm doing with my home, I try to keep all the germs out. So I also use an On Guard. We have a cleaner that's a concentrate that I actually put a little bit of you just need a little bit of the cleaner and then the rest water. And I just spray and wipe everything down. For my home, I pretty much do that on a daily during the cold and flu season, just to make sure that anything that gets touched a lot, even the refrigerator doors, because in and out of that, because people come in and out and they're not washing their hands necessarily, but I do and my daughter does, but not everyone else. So I always try to be on top of that. So what else has just come in? Oh, I also have this in a toothpaste. So I use the On Guard toothpaste as well. I use that all year long. But yeah, those are different ways that I use to help me to boost my immune system. And I've been doing this for 11 years with the On Guard. And I also have started, this is the last few months now, I've been doing the wellness. I forgot to bring it with me. I was going to show it to you. Sorry, but it's a wellness foundational wellness powder, and it's so good for your health. I mean, it's like all the different things to keep your body healthy. And it's a powder. I just put like a little pouch. It's like, I don't know, about that tall, little skinny little pouch. And I just put it in water, stir it up, and drink it. And it's really yummy as well. So it's good for me and it tastes good to me. So love that. Okay, now number 5, I'm going to say this, even though I personally don't do it yet. I'm going to say yet, but I'm sure as I get older, I probably will at some point get into this. But the flu shot. I mean, that is like, they talk about that all the time, how important the flu shot is. If you have any health conditions, so if you're diabetic, had a history of stroke or heart attack, COPD, anything respiratory, so if you already have a compromised immune system, I would totally recommend the flu shot for you. Well, let me back that up. I would totally recommend that you talk to your doctor or pharmacist about that. And also the pneumonia shot, I think, is something that you get every year too. I don't know. I never get them. I just never get them. But I never get sick. But if I found myself, especially as I'm getting older, because again, like if you're over 65, they say you really should have the flu shot. So I'm not there yet, but so I'm not saying I'm never going to get it. It's not like I don't believe in it. I've been taking my husband to get his flu shot probably the last 15 years or more. I make sure that he gets his. I make sure that my mom gets hers. But personally, I just haven't needed mine yet. So I'll just say yet, because I'm not saying I will never get it. I'm just saying I just never have. Okay, so now if you are in that group of people that have a hard time because it's darker earlier and you're not getting as much daylight, you're not getting the vitamin D, and you're experiencing depression or anxiety, I say please have a conversation with your doctor. Definitely, number 1, talk to your primary care physician, and she's going to be able to recommend some things for you. Now, I wouldn't say that I have seasonal depression or anxiety, but I do have it, and I need to track. Is it more during that time of year? Is it more because it's a seasonal autumn thing? I don't know. I have to look into it, but I have had a talk with my doctor. But what I do is dōTERRA's adaptive. This is really, really good. So I love this. It's really good for anxiety. It's good for helping you to calm down. It's good for helping you to just be centered. So I love the adaptive for that purpose. Okay, and then lavender. And lavender is really good too. And lavender is in here as well, because this is also a blend just like this. A blend just means it's not a singular oil. So lavender would be a singular oil. It's just lavender. But adaptive has a lavender in it. So it's a blend because it has lavender and a few more things in here as well. Spearmint. Let's see, I can't even see it all really good. How come I can't read this one as well? I can read that one. I don't know. But these are both blends, meaning that it's not a singular oil. So anyway, that's it. Don't let this autumn season bring you down. You can take some preventive measures to have a very successful autumn. Now, again, it's not like a guarantee that if you follow these tips that you're never going to have the cold or flu again. But I'm just saying this is what has worked for me. So if nothing else, it's going to help you reduce the risk even more. Okay, so I like to know what are your tips. What do you do during this cold and flu season to help you stay healthy and on top of everything so that you're living your best life? And even this season where you're still energized, you're still doing all the things you want to do, and with grace, confidence, and purpose. Let me know. Can't wait to hear from you. See you in the next video.